Welcome to Green Soul Yoga. Today's practice is a all levels but gentler practice. I do recommend having a yoga strap if you have one available at home. And if you don't have a strap available, you might grab a belt or a long scarf could work as well. And if you're not going to use anything, that's okay as well. So let's go ahead and lie down on our mats, lay flat out. You can have your knees bent, or you can extend them long, either way. And just place both hands onto your belly with the fingertips just barely touching. Let's close our eyes down and just begin to breathe. Just coming into our space. Nice big inhale breath, and as you do, feel the belly expand. Fingertips slightly parting away from each other, and on the exhale, sink the belly down, the fingertips coming back together. Good, inhale. Open up the belly, exhale. Drop all the breath out. Good. Let's take a couple more breaths like this. Inhale. And then exhale. Good. Bring your hands down to your sides now and just see if you can continue to engage a nice, smooth, long inhale and exhale breath into the belly. You can have a couple falling out, sighing breaths through the mouth here if that feels good to you. We're just going to begin. If your knees aren't already bent, bring your knees to a bent position with soles of the feet on the earth. You can keep your hands for now at your sides. And we're just going to begin to kind of find our core, just marching the legs. So we bring the right leg up, inhale, exhale, place it back down. Inhale, left leg, exhale. Good, start to squeeze that knee in just a little closer to the chest as you move. Keep moving. Right and then left, left and then right. Inhaling and exhaling. Good, keep your low back completely steady on the earth. Good. Let's come back to right leg in, right leg up into the air. Pull it straight down with a long leg. Slide it back into bent knee. Good. Inhale, left up. Exhale, left down. Inhale, slide it in. Foot meets right next to the right. Good. Let's do the other side. Right leg in, up, slow lower down. Bend the knee, slide the heel in. Left leg in, up, slow release down. Slide it in. Let's do one more each side. Knee in, up, bring it all the way to the earth. Heel slides in, sole of the foot back where it started, left side. Nice work. And slide it in. Good. We're going to grab that strap or your belt or scarf, whatever it is you're using today. If you do have a yoga strap or a belt, be careful if there's a metal piece at one end. You just don't want to hit yourself with it. We're going to draw the right knee in and place the strap around the ball or even the arch of the foot. And just hold the strap here. And sometimes I'll have students push into the strap and ease back. And today, I'd rather that we just use the strap as a bit of resistance, but we're not really working hard here. More just to add a little to this beautiful stretch and to be able to kind of feel into that body, feel into the right leg. And then just allow yourself to have a little bit of movement here if you like, so you can pull the strap back in towards the body a bit more, and then you could release. You could move the knee to bent and then straight. So just kind of feeling your way around here, right to left, and again, not a lot of effort, just a softening in the body. Beautiful. Good. Come to have the leg so that the knee is over the hip, the ankle's over the knee, and just flex the foot firmly here. Begin to pull that left knee in and press the left foot up into the strap, and then bend the right knee. Release that right leg. Place the right foot down to the sole to the foot of the sole to the earth. There we go. Let's hold the strap into both hands. Left leg is in the strap. Not pushing, not forcing, just allowing. And then starting any small movement that might feel good to you, pulling the strap back in towards you, moving from side to side, bending the knee and straightening. So just begin to find some very fluid, gentle, easy movement. Just exploring, opening up into spaces that we have here. Along the leg, into the hip. Breathe. Nice job. And find stillness. Bend that right knee, bring it up, and place both feet into the strap. And again, we're just looking for, you might loosen the strap up a little bit, just looking for something that kind of helps hold the legs up there so there's not so much effort on the part of the legs and the core. We're just kind of chilling here. And if you're used to kind of pushing and really extending in this kind of stretch, just see if you can find a bit of pulling back and softening. Let your low back just melt into the earth. Good. Bend the knees and pull the strap closer to the body. And then we're just going to gently release that strap. Take the arms out nice and wide now, and we can bring the knees over the hips. You can choose to have the knees remain over the hips with your feet lifted off the mat as you go side to side. Or if that feels like that would be too much on the back, then just drop the feet down and move the knees from side to side. So for a little bit more core effort and action, the feet will be off the mat. And as you begin to warm up into this windshield wipers, if you can, let's drop the knees as far as you can over to the right and hold left shoulder rooting down. And begin to feel that core engagement. Bring the knees back through the center, all the way to the left. Drop it down, breathe, right shoulder down into the earth. And gently making your way back to center. And bringing the hands onto the knees at center. From here, begin to press the knees away and pull them back in. Inhale, rock the knees forward. Exhale, rock the knees back. 2 more times. Very nice. Hold the knees in here, and you can hold behind the thighs. If that works for you, we're going to do a little rock and roll. So we want to massage the entire spine and almost have just a little C to the spine. Roll up, roll back, roll up, roll back, roll up. One more time. And then all the way up to seated. Good. Just kind of roll your shoulders around here and come into easy seated pose. Root your sit bones down, lift up nice and tall for the crown of the head. Belly is engaged. We're just going to find some breath here in our seated pose. And maybe just take a moment to think about our practice today. So closing the eyes down, deep inhales, deep exhales. And just follow the breath. Start to scan the body. And just begin to witness where your thoughts are today. Maybe we're in a time that isn't what we expected. This happens all throughout life, little life surprises. And the beauty of yoga is we come to our mats and we begin to just learn a little bit about ourselves, about our reactions, about our thoughts and emotions. Breathe into your space, your truth, your life. Bring your hands to your heart center and guide your head down, chin towards chest, just kind of bowing in here. And when life throws you curveballs or puts you in an unexpected place, how do you react? What tools do you use to keep yourself balanced? Maybe yoga could be one of those tools. Inhale, bring the head back in line with the spine. Release the hands. Drop your right hand down to the floor and reach your left arm up and over. Stretch out your left side body. Breathe into the left body. Ground and root that left sit bone down to the earth. Really push the hip down. Inhale, gently come back to center. Exhale, take it all the way the other direction. Let your left hand float to the earth. Reach your right hand up and over. Ground your right sit bone. Breathe. Inhale, back to center. Both arms reach up overhead. Drop the shoulders down your back. Hold here with a breath or two. Turn the palms so they face up, and then just gently release. Slowly bringing those hands down to palms face up on the lap. Close the eyes and breathe. Inhaling, open the eyes, take the arms back up overhead. Exhaling, right arm behind you, left arm across the body to right thigh, twist. Look over your right shoulder. Inhale, lift the arms, unwind the torso to the center. Exhale, all the way to the other side. Gaze back over the left shoulder. Inhale all the way back to center. Palms lift. Palms flip over. Bow forward. Palms face up. Sit bones down into the ground. And just offer your practice. You can offer it to someone who's in need today, to your highest self, to the universe, wherever you feel like your offering is today. Engage your core, lift up a little bit on the pelvic floor. Find a big inhale breath, reach the arms back up overhead, palms coming back towards each other, and touch the palms together. Exhale your hands to heart center. Beautiful. Go ahead and bring yourself onto your hands and knees now. Taking a bit of a tabletop position here. Wrists will come under the shoulders, knees under the hips, and just begin to explore the body here with some movement. So maybe rocking the hips around side to side, maybe a little snaking in the body. You can begin to round the body. So I just want you to explore some movement. Let it be very organic. Think of it as a little dancey or playful. And then we'll come back to a centered space. Take an inhale breath and then exhale, hips back and down. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, hips down and back. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, down and back. One more time. Inhale, tabletop. Nice work. Begin to feel those fingertips gripping your mat. Inhale your right leg up, keeping the knee bent and sole of the foot towards the ceiling. Just begin to pulse very gently through the leg, lifting through the glute, pulling up as though there's a little string attached to the heel at the ceiling and somebody's just lifting that string just a little bit. Fire up in those gluteals. Keep the belly pulled in, keep the back strong. Good, switch it out. Bring that right knee down, lift the left leg. Try to parallel the thigh to the mat, but if it's a little lower, that's okay. And then just begin to gently pulse. Pulse, pulse, flex the foot, heel towards the ceiling. Just finding that warmth, finding this little tiny bit of movement back in there. Being aware of the rest of the body, what's happening. Let's take a few more. Nice, set it down, stretch it out. Child's pose, hips back and down. Hold here, forehead to the mat, breathe. Last breath here. Inhale back towards tabletop, up onto your fingertips. To make room, step your right foot through into a low runner's lunge. Square up your hips, reach long through your crown of your head, and then slowly move the hands onto that front thigh. Good, so we've got a little, almost like 90-degree angles going on each foot here and the hips squaring forward. Press your hands into the lap and push away. Now the hips gently press forward and my hands press back. Inhale the arms up overhead. Place the right hand down to your hip or to the thigh and begin to lean away from the left leg, the rooted left leg. Inhale, come back to center, reach both arms up overhead. Exhale, take your hands down to the mat, fingertips touching down, lengthen through the spine, flatten out the back. Breathe your right hip back and the crown of the head forward. Place the left hand down to the mat and inhale the right arm up into the air. Looking up, finding our thumb with our gaze. Arms straight out of the shoulder. Slow lower, right hand comes down. Back to the fingertips and tuck the right knee back in. Sit back, child's pose, breathe. You can turn the palms face up here to be more receptive in this child's pose. Inhale, back to tabletop, onto the fingertips, left leg pops through, square the hips. Inhale, let's bring the hands onto the lap and just start by just kind of stacking your body, getting everything where you want it for this low lunge, and then a little press into the hands on the thighs, hips forward, and we're just breathing here, lovely. Feeling a little stretch in that hip flexor? Yes. Good, let's inhale the arms up. Take the left arm down either to the hip or to the thigh for support, and then hinge a little bit over to the left, away from the right leg. Feel your hip get a nice, beautiful stretch. Good. Inhale, come back to center, reach that left arm up to meet the right, and then exhale the hands down to the earth. Find the earth. Find squared hips, long spine, reach the right hand all the way to the floor. If it doesn't like to touch there, this would be a good place to use a block. Round the belly in towards the inner left thigh and reach the left hand high. Turn your gaze up towards the thumb. If your neck disapproves, then you can look down. Fantastic. Take a breath. And then exhale, wind the left hand down to the mat. Go ahead and press back. Left knee meets the right. Child's pose. Good. Now on the next inhale breath, begin to inhale back towards tabletop. Keep sliding your way forward. Bend those elbows and drop your pelvis down to the floor for Cobra, Bhujangasana. Lower down, elbows back, belly all the way down. Nice. Make sure your hands come near the chest here on either side, and your forehead can come to the mat. Good. We're going to do a little bit of snaky cobra today. So starting low and just thinking about kind of moving from side to side. As you press your hands in, your pelvis in, and you move up towards your cobra pose. When you get there at the top, melt your heart forward a little bit, shoulders down the back, be centered and still. And then exhale. Lower all the way to the mat. Nice work. Press your hands and knees into the mat and come back, pressing the hips back towards like we would be in tabletop, but now our hands are a bit forward. We're going to leave the hands there, curl 10 toes under, and begin to lift the knees, pull the hips up, straighten the legs out, and find downward facing dog. Breathe. Broaden through your shoulders, tuck the navel in towards the spine, lift the sit bones and press heels down without locking knees or elbows here. Very soft in the joints, the head just kind of dangles down. One more breath here. Gentler practice. You're welcome to take child's pose anytime you want. Step your way forward and come to a forward fold. You can bend your knees if need be here. Think about strengthening your rooting of your feet, strengthening the legs and the lift of the hips and the sit bones, and then lowering and relaxing through the upper body, just softening, floating and melting the upper body. Strong lower body, melted upper body. Begin to gently rise one vertebrae at a time, just rolling your way up to standing, taking your time. And then roll the shoulders back into place a couple times. Come to standing mountain pose. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, standing mountain pose. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, release. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, mountain pose, Tadasana. Very nice. Take a nice big step back with the right foot. And finding our right foot's going to turn just a little bit out. So we're not coming all the way parallel to the back of the mat, but our toes also aren't facing forward, maybe like 45 degrees. And then we're squaring our hips towards the top of that mat. So here I am, hip bones forward, front foot rooted, back foot and heel rooted, back foot turned slightly in, so not quite warrior positioning. Good, just see how you feel here and really pay attention to that back knee. If there's any pressure right now that doesn't feel good on the back knee, turn the toes even more so forward, goal being to keep those hips squared up. Bring your hands behind your back now and clasp the opposite elbow. But if you can't quite get the elbows, then work towards maybe just forearm or wrists. Stand tall. Exhale, hinge forward. Find a flat back here. Lengthen through the crown of your head. Pull your left hip back and your right hip forward to keep that squared hip position if you can. Good, see about releasing a little bit deeper over the left leg if that serves you. Without rounding the spine, keep the breath. Feel the rooting of the feet, feel the press down. Use that to help you rise back up on an inhale breath. Good, shoulders over the hips to the best of your ability here. Slowly release the hands and then inhale them up overhead. As you exhale, turn your toes over to the right edge of the mat and then off the other direction. So right toes back, left toes slightly turned in. We're facing towards the back edge of our mat now, sliding the hips around to face that edge of the mat. Now you might remember whatever came naturally to put your hands behind your back, maybe switch which one's on top. Working into a nice open chest, shoulders on the back. Good. Now you don't have to hinge all the way to flat back, you can just come a little ways forward if that suits you better. Just make sure this right hip keeps kind of sliding back to maintain as much of those squared hips as you can here. Pull the navel into the spine and really glue those feet down so that you have stability. Nice big stretch through the front leg. Keep coming down lower if you can, thinking about lengthening the spine as you go. Good. Root the feet down, inhale to rise. Working our shoulders back over those squared hips. Slowly release the hands. Inhale, sweep them up overhead. Exhale, turn the toes. And release the hands down. Nice job. And go ahead and turn around and face you. Now we're taking wide-legged forward fold. So right now you want both your toes facing in front of your ankles, just slightly out maybe. Let's bring hands onto the hips. Exhale, fold forward. Bring your hands down onto your mat and then gently begin to walk the hands forward. I want you to grip out in front of you onto the floor or mat and then push your hands into the floor as you send your heart back, looking underneath the legs. Big breath here. Feel free to sigh through the mouth. And just reach your right arm underneath the left. Grab the right hand onto the left thigh or left calf or left ankle, depending on what you can reach, but just try to avoid the knee. And then pull that right hand, pulls you underneath, look under. Gently looking past the left armpit. And release, right hand sweeps out next to the left, out front. Press the right hand in, release the left hand over to the right leg, anywhere along the leg except for the knee. And then pull gently to the right. Look under your right armpit, breathe. Release the left hand now. Walk the hands back. Take about a halfway lift. Begin to feel a little tug in the legs. It's like you're pulling the mat apart. And as you do, strengthen through your core. Work your hands back to your hips. Inhale with a long spine. And stand all the way back up. Good. Come back to the top of your mat, facing forward. Hips squared. Inhale. Sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, fold. Good. Move your hands to the floor, even if you have to bend your knees to get them there, and step back into plank positioning. Keep your bum under and your belly in. Wrists are lining up under the shoulders. Good. Drop your knees down, uncurl your toes. Slow lower, right down to the earth, elbows back. As soon as you come down, root the legs, root the pelvis. Inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, release. Good, now we're going to take a nice shoulder stretch today. So we want to reach our left arm out, straight out from the left shoulder. Look over, make sure that's where it's at. Here's the little part that you can't miss. Roll your left shoulder down as much as you can. So it's touching down towards the mat, the top of the shoulder. So that's a little tricky because normally it's rolled up. So we're rolling it forward and down. Press into your right hand. Roll your body so that you're rolling towards that left arm, stacking your right shoulder on top of the left. Bend the right knee and place the right sole of the foot to the earth behind the left leg. Good. Now the head can kind of be wherever you're most comfortable. If you like to hold it up, if you like to let it drop down, that's going to be up to you. Breathe into your left shoulder that's grounding down into the earth, and just give yourself a little tiny rock. Forward and back. Now if there's any pinching or pain, you're going to avoid this and just find stillness where it doesn't hurt. Maybe the shoulders are really tight. Maybe you need to back off and come back towards the belly. That would be okay too. Nice job. And then slowly round back onto your belly. Take your time. Unwind. Draw the left hand in, right arm out. We're going to do the other side. Beautiful, lovely stretch here. Roll the right shoulder down. You want to find the mat with the front of the shoulder. And then roll over. Left hip stacks on right. Find a comfortable place for your head. Bend the top knee. And place the foot behind the leg, gently rolling onto that shoulder, using this mat like a little massage, just gently letting all the soreness out. Nice work. Keep breathing. And just be really witnessing your body today. Is it acting as you thought it would, or there's some unexpected little surprises? Are you okay with that? How do you work around it? Nice work. Slowly round back onto the belly. Very good. And then draw the right hand in. We're going to leave our forehead down to the mat. Reach both fingertips back. So as though my fingers are going to reach for my toes, except I'm going to lift my feet off the mat and send my feet as close to the glutes as I possibly can. Begin to inhale, lift your chest and your head off the mat, gazing down towards the floor and just reaching fingertips back, back, back. Good. Feel your pelvis root down. And if you can, we're going to grab the feet one at a time. Excellent. And if you've gotten this far, you can just kind of hang here like we did with our strap, which is a very just kind of holding ourselves in the pose very gently and eat with ease. Or begin to inhale, push the feet into the hands, causing a bit of a rise of the toes towards the sky and the chest up off the floor. Keep gazing forward. Feel the quads, feel the glutes, feel the core, shoulders on the back. Last breath. Exhale, release the hands. Stack the forearms in front of you as you release the legs down. Drop your head down. Breathe here. Good. Continue to find your breath as you relax the front body into the mat. Fantastic work. Take a little inhale to lift the head off the hands and bring yourself to Sphinx pose. Sphinx pose has our elbows in line with the shoulders or slightly in front. Draw those legs together and then just pressing down into the hands, draw the heart forward. Glide your left knee up towards your left shoulder. A little half froggy here, flex the foot. Good, breathe here. Keep the shoulders forward, your gaze forward. Beautiful. Release that tension in the hip. Keep lifted through the heart. Don't collapse here. Draw the leg back. Left leg back, right leg comes forward. See if you can get the knee about up to where your hip is, straight out from the hip, and then your ankle straight down from the knee and flexed foot. If you can't quite get that far, that's okay. Come as far as you can. We're going to breathe. Heavy the pelvis down towards the earth. And sweep the right leg back. Pull the hands back, lower the chest. Very good. Curl 10 toes under, press into the mat with your hands and your knees, and then lift up, downward facing dog. Send your heart pressing back, lift the spine, lift through the hips, lengthen the spine. Good. Now we're going to find just the smallest bit of movement here in which we're going to round our spine and tuck our tails just a little bit more. And then release, lengthen the spine, crown of head reaches further towards earth. Round the spine, tuck the navel in, tuck the tailbone just a little. And release, lengthen the spine, sit bones high. One more time. Little pelvic tilt, little tiny bit of round in the spine, and release. Straighten the spine, drop the head. Good. Come back to your hands and knees. Tabletop, shoulders and wrists in alignment, knees and hips. Inhale, breath. Exhale, round the spine, chin towards your chest. Ooh, press your hands and knees into the earth. Hold here. Sweet counter pose to the back bend in bow that we just did. Beautiful. Release, flat back. Fingertips touch the mat. We can make a little bit of space and step the right foot through low lunge. Inhale, lift yourself back up, hands onto the right thigh. Find your steadiness. We're going to see we can either stay here or maybe we're going to just kind of pick ourselves up today. And sometimes when things in life don't go as we expect, we gotta pick ourselves back up, right? Because maybe it knocked us down for a second. So let's see if we can find the strength to pick ourselves up here. And if you lose your balance, please be careful. Make sure there's nothing around you you're gonna fall into here. We're gonna curl the toes under, engage the core, engage the pelvic floor, use a little press, not on the knees, but into the thigh, and pick yourself up into more crescent lunge. There we go, nice job. Pull the front knee back so it's in line with your ankle, and press out through your back heel. Inhale the arms up if you're feeling steady into your crescent lunge. And when we lower down, when we start to come down, we want to come down without crashing. Hands down to the thigh, slow lower, little bit at a time, slowly finding the earth. Ah, nice work. Unwind the toe. This next one can be a little difficult on the knee, so if you have something to pad up under your knee, you can definitely use that, but it does give us a nice stretch. So let's come back to where we were. If you're padding up under the knee, you could also roll your mat up and place it under the knee. Good. So here we're going to make sure our left hand is right on top of the right hand. Bend the knee a bit more and pick up those left toes. This could be where you stay. If you'd like, we're going to open up, thumbs down, trying to find the left foot with the left hand. Square your hips back up, square your shoulders back up to the front. Good. You might see I'm heel-toeing my right foot just a little bit to the right for a little bit extra support, because I'm going to attempt, and you don't have to take my right hand back as well. Good. We want to square the hips, square the shoulders, press deeply into that right foot. That's going to help you. And then use the core strength here. Find your balance. You can't see probably, but I'm massaging my thumbs into the arch of my foot. Give myself a little foot massage here, a little love. You can do that too if you like. And then when we release, slow lower it back down. Woo! Nice job. Lovely work. Inhale, come on back, tabletop position. Let's step left foot through. Bring our hands on to the thigh, not the knee. Curl the toes under and begin to find not just our strength, but our balance here. So we want to pull everything to midline, really feel everything coming together, because we got to pick ourselves up. So we're going to breathe, that back knee up, flex out through that back heel. It's not touching down to the earth. Good. Squaring up if you're feeling solid, steady. Inhale the arms up overhead. Now last time we took our hands down to our lap first to return to the earth. If you're feeling pretty steady here, go ahead and come on down with the hands up. This is going to challenge the balance a little bit more, create a little bit more resistance. Excellent. Hands down. Right hand on top of the left. Stack the shoulders over the hips, picking up the toes if we can. Now it's okay to just not do any of this and just stay in a very nice low lunge the entire time. We can send the right hand back, find the right foot. Just kind of dragging that foot in towards the glute, getting a nice quad stretch and stretching out the knee muscles as well. This is good as long as you have healthy knees. If your knees maybe are a little less than healthy, you might want to avoid this stretch and just stay in the low lunge. We're almost there. Good, let's release left hand, then right, and then slow lower that foot down. Excellent job. Go ahead, hands to the mat for our steadiness and support. Step that left foot back, and then sink down, child's pose. Good. From this child's pose, you can just begin to gently kind of sway a little bit here in the pose, like you're rocking a baby. And if your forehead's on the mat, rock it side to side as well. more breath. We're going to inhale, walk the hands back towards you a bit as you lift your heart, and we'll come to sit down on our mats. So just round your hips to one side, and then lengthen those legs out after we have those big knee stretches. Give them a little shake, and then rub the knees. Rub the muscles around, in front, behind the knees. Give them a little bit of love. Excellent. Keep the feet out in front of you. Rock side to side to find your sit bones. Ground down through the sit bones. Beautiful. So what we're going to do next is just a little core exercise with a fold. It's really nice, like rowing a boat, okay? So it looks like this. We're going to inhale the arms up. Exhale forward. Pull those elbows back. Sit back up. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Now, if you start to get comfortable enough and you're finding your breath with your movement and you want a little bit more core, lean back on that lift. Fold forward, reach, pull, lean, lift. You start to feel those muscles really engage on that lean back. Keep the spine long. Few more. Nice job. Reach. Come on down on this one. Fold forward, grabbing your feet or legs. Lengthen your spine here. So it's as though the top of my head comes towards my toes. Big toes are right next to each other, and then all the little toes are in a nice line, including the pinky toes. So if you have a hard time keeping those toes in a line, you can grab a strap to put around the feet and help pull them back, or if you can reach your toes, you can gently pull back just a little bit on the pinky side of the feet to help keep them lined up. Good. So we're breathing our belly down to the legs, and then the rib cage, and then the chest, and then the head. And maybe none of that's going to happen today. And that's okay. Just keep lengthening the spine, lengthening the legs. Now look at your toes and inhale and slowly lift your chest. Roll the shoulders down, right over the hips. Beautiful. Send the right leg out to the right and keep the left leg forward. You can adjust yourself a little bit here. We're turning our torso over just the right leg. Begin to walk the hands down either side of the right leg. And we've got the same action here. So you might not be able to tell in the video, but we want to avoid this kind of rounding into it. And instead, tuck the belly, folding into it, folding. This left foot stays active as well. And then we're working towards nose to knee here. Now notice how your left sit bone may be trying to squirm around or lift up. If it helps you, you can pull that left hand back and just remind it, hey, you're going to stay down there. Otherwise, just do it energetically. Good. Now, inhale, come right back up, lifting the heart, and then turn your torso a little bit over that left leg, fingertips towards the back here, towards the outer left hip, and then lean in to the floor. Press your fingertips in. Greet the floor. Hello, floor. Good. Push away from the floor and rise back up. Slide your right leg in. Slide your left leg out. So whatever degree, it could be a little bit, or you might have one leg each direction. Either way. We just kind of rotate that torso over the left leg. Both feet are actively pressing the toes towards the ceiling. Exhale and fold. So, if your right leg starts to collapse in, once again, rotate it so the toes face towards the ceiling. If the right hip starts to rise, drop it down, encourage it, root it down. Inhale, rise back up. You can walk the hands up. Rotate the other direction. Hands are kind of behind that outer right hip. If this is as far as we can go, that's perfectly fine. If we can, we'll just dip our heart down towards the floor a little bit here. Press the hands in, lift back up. Unwind back to your center. Draw the left foot in. Excellent work. Okay, so we're going to come to lie down on our mats again. Bend your knees and then slowly lower your way all the way down. You can use more support or less support of the hands, depending on what you like today. Feel the back of the head rooting on down. And just gently roll the shoulders underneath you. Walk your feet in, heels towards the glutes. Bring your hands onto your hips. Good. Just begin to breathe. Heels are close to the glutes. You can bring your hands down to the earth and inhale the hips up off the mat. Begin to pull one vertebrae at a time, lifting the spine up. Bridge pose. Tuck your tailbone and knees forward, energetically pulling and lengthening the spine as you press the back of your head into the mat and lift the heart towards the chin. You can clasp the hands underneath you and pull the knuckles down towards the ankles with your shoulders rolling underneath you. You can hug the thighs gently closer together, squeezing through the glutes, pulling the navel in. When we release, let the hands go if you clasped them. You can unroll your shoulders a bit and then slow lower, one vertebrae at a time, tucking a little bit at the tail there, all the way until the entire spine is relaxed back down to the mat. Open up the arms again. Step the feet one footprint out from the glutes, and then drop the knees to the right. And just notice how this spinal twist may experience different than the first time early in the practice. Now that our head and neck are warmed up, you can turn your gaze over to the left. Unwind, knees back to center, head back to center. Go the other direction. Knees left, gaze right, shoulders down. Keep a softness in the body. Engage through the core back to center. Pull the feet together, big toe side of the feet to touch. Drop the knees open, work the soles of the feet together. Supta Baddha Konasana. I like to maybe rock a little bit here, almost like when you're trying to find your sit bones, but I'm trying to find the sweet spot. Release the hands down onto the hips. Again, maybe even massage those hip bones a little bit if they're holding on to too much tension. You can massage into the creases of the hips. Just begin to slide those heels closer to the glutes in Baddha Konasana. So a few inches closer. Feel the root down of the pinky side of the feet into the ground. And inhale, press into that pinky side of the foot. Leave the knees open wide. And just a few inches, lift your hips. Supta Baddha Konasana, bridge pose. Keep thinking of drawing the knees out and down, hips up, feet grounded on the pinky edge of the foot. Outer edge of the foot. Good. Slow lower it down. And stretch out those legs. Stretch the arms up overhead. Reach from fingers to toes. Big breath in, big breath out. Fantastic job today, everybody. Let's come to Shavasana. Drop the hands and arms down to the sides and a little bit out from the body. Wiggle your way around your mat as you spread the legs back open wide. And then make sure that you can be comfortable here. So if you need to adjust anything, your clothes, your body, if you need a prop underneath you, a pillow, and then come to complete stillness and close your eyes. Start to feel all of the muscles begin to relax. Choose to relax here. Choose to let go of tension. Breathe easy, breathe gentle. Just let it all come naturally to you. Feel deep into your body. Release the tension. Recognize the energy pulsating through you. Soften your jaw. Just remember a time when something was unexpected. Something was not what you thought it was going to be. It can be a good surprise. It can be a not so good surprise. Just take a moment to frame in your mind the best course of action and reaction when you find yourself swept away unexpectedly. It happens all the time in life. See yourself just taking a moment for breath in that unexpectedness, that you would pause. Use your yogic breath. Detach from that which is happening a little bit. Pull back. Reframe the situation and then begin to have an action or a bit of a reaction, but one that you feel is useful and helpful to move you forward. Our yoga practice helps us learn to do this, to step back from a situation, whatever it might be, breathe into it, steady ourselves, and then move forward. Or sometimes choose not to move at all, but hold our ground. Lessons from our mat. Thank you, Matt, for teaching us today. We'll bring our fingers and our toes to a wiggle. And with gratitude for our practice, we will roll onto our right or left sides. Gently press away from the earth and set ourselves back up.
As we come to seated, let's just ground down through the sit bones, reach through the crown of the head. Bring our hands together into the heart center. Recall your earlier offering of your practice. Breathe into gratitude. To our shared collective offerings, we will bow. Namaste. Thank you, yogis.